Hello everyone, this is E-Bike and Tech, and welcome back for those of you who are and have been subscribed already, and for those of you who are new, welcome. I do reviews, and maybe one day soon will be more. We'll see how that goes. But what I got for you today is a review video on the Exway electric longboard. The specs for this board is 16-mile range and 29 miles an hour speed. The battery voltage, I'm not sure, it's probably somewhere in between 36 and 42 volts. I'm not sure, they don't specify that, but the motors, it's a dual hub motor system with both motors being 1200 watts. So as you can see, this board is not brand new. I have been using it for a while. I will have you know that I already have over 500 miles on it that I've ridden it on. And yeah, I thought I would come out today and finally make a video on it. It wasn't planned. I was planning on it, but never had the time because I do work, and that takes quite a bit of time. But nevertheless, so the board has already over 500 miles on it, as I have said already. And so, you know, it has some wear on it, but this is a 15-pound board. It's not very heavy. It does have some wear on it. Right here, as you can see, I put some electrical tape around the spaces there in between, just for, you know, extra safety purposes, I guess. Right here is the power button and the charging port. And then these are the two dual hub motors. As you can see, they are very worn at the moment. I will be replacing them very soon as well. This board did come with an extra pair of what should I call it? Tires, I guess. Wheels, wheel rubbers. But yeah, I can replace those anytime I want. It's actually quite simple. All you have to do is take off all of these, what is it, like 5 bolts? Yep, 5 bolts. And then you take this cover off, and then you can take this rubber part off and then put on the spare pair. This is a 85 millimeter. That's also good to know. So yeah, I mean, this board overall is a great electric board. It does say 16 miles range. Me personally, what I've gotten out of it, I would say around 9-10 when riding it in like gear 3, which is my usual. It has gears 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is the highest, and then you can also go into the app settings on your phone and switch on the turbo mode, and that will be able to make it go faster. I haven't quite done the exact to the point like results on like the speed test, you know, so I wouldn't know for sure if it goes like 29 miles an hour, but I will say it does go pretty fast. So I would say at least 27 to 28 miles an hour with the turbo switch on, of course. But for the most part, I ride it on gear 3, which usually goes like 18 to 20 miles an hour, which actually I would probably even say 20 to 22 miles an hour, because it does still go pretty fast and it does conserve a lot of energy. I will also mention that this board does have regenerative braking, so that every time you brake, it regenerates power. I noticed that even, you know, the littlest, tiniest bit of braking will regenerate. Doesn't matter how much you brake. Me personally, I would usually, like, if I'm going down a hill and I'm actually planning on braking to intentionally recharge the battery, I will not be braking all the way. I would usually brake just either a tiny bit, or just a little bit more than that, but not even, I would try to stay away from like halfway or like full on throttle, full on brakes. So and it will regenerate power at the same time as not slowing me down very much. So yeah, I thought that would be a good thing to mention. And let's see what else. It's they have you can order this board online on the Exway.com website. Me personally, I've got it from the store. I think it is called Paragon Sports, so shout out to them. This board is over, let's see, 4 to 5 months old, somewhere in between there. So I've been riding it for quite a while. And as you may know, over 500 miles, that's technically being the odometer, that's a pretty good range on an electric skateboard, or should I say longboard, whichever you want to call it. But yeah, and then on their website you can of course purchase extra pairs of wheels, tires, all that, other parts, including the controller and the grip tape, so that's always nice to have available. This board, of course, when I bought it, it came out with tax. Since I bought it from the store, came out to $1,080. So that wasn't that bad. And then but it did come with a normal charger, which charges it from 0 to 100% in 2 hours and 45 minutes. But later, a couple of days or a week later, I ended up actually finding out. I didn't even know about the fast charger that they had until like I did more research on the board itself. And then I stumbled upon this this ad or whatever it was. But basically, I ended up finding out about the fast charger. I was like, oh wait, really? This is a thing. Wow, that's really cool. So, and it was only $99. So I went out, and then I straight up went on their website and I found out that they had it on there. So if you ever need the regular charger, they have that. And then aside from that, they also have the fast charger. So the fast charger charges the board from 0 to 100% in 1 hour and 10 minutes as they advertise. For me, I usually don't kill the board, or at least I'm not able to, because like I usually when I go out and I take the board out, I have a goal of where I want to go, where I need to go. Let's say when I go out to get a few snacks or something like that, and then just ride the board for fun, I usually come back home with about 20-25% left over. So, and when I plug it into charge, the battery usually just jumps right up to like 45-49%, which is pretty crazy. I'm not exactly sure how all that works, but that's what happens, and I'm telling you guys that right now, just so you know. If any of you are planning on purchasing this board or looking into it in general, this is a great overall board, I would say. And yeah, it just it jumps to like somewhere close to 50% right away, and then from there it just takes another extra 25-30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes at most, to finish charging to 100%. And that's it. I usually don't even have to wait much at all, especially when I actually, as a matter of fact, I have a friend who lives right nearby, and he bought this same exact board, but his came with a regular charger as well. He bought his off online, off their website, and yeah, it just came with a regular charger. So let's see what else. So yeah, me and him have been riding them, and we went to like a couple of fast food restaurants and stuff, and we like stopped by. We were able to just plug them in there into the the AC outlet, and then we were able to eat, or just sit there and then let them charge real quick, and then we were right back out on the road. So I think that covers quite a bit. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to cut right back to me riding the board. Ooh, another thing to mention, one last thing to mention, should I say. I did come out with this board at, let's see, so this is the controller right here. Has this strap right here also. Has some stuff right here, sector barcode, Exway. And as you can see, let me see if we can focus. It is now at 76%. The board is at 76%, and the remote is at 38%. The remote usually takes quite a few trips to die, so if you ride it, if you come out at 100% on the controller, then I would say we'll at least take 5 to 6 trips, if not more, to for it to die. So the remote is that one thing which you will, for the most part, not even have to worry about dying. So as you can see, I'm already on gear 3, then there's gear 4, gear 1, gear 2, gear 3. So yeah, and I was gonna charge it up to 100%, but it's already getting a little, it's already afternoon. As you can see, the sun is setting already. So I thought, why not just make this video real quick, and then if anything, I can always make another video with the board being 100% charged. And that's of course if people will like it. If you guys like this and ask for more videos, then I will of course do that. And yeah, without further ado, I think we're gonna be right out onto the ride. So I just came out, and I am, as you can see, on gear 3 right now, and I am not even going full speed. I literally just touched on the throttle a little bit, came down a little, but yeah, now I'm gonna go full throttle. I just went up quite a steep hill, and I will also mention that this board does do a very, very good job on hills. It definitely does what it says it can do. It says it on the website that the board's incline is able to go up 30% hills. I would say that is very true. It is very much capable of doing it. This is all gear 3. Let's switch to gear 4 and let's see what it can do up the hill. As you can see, now it's in gear 4, full throttle. I mean, I will say that is pretty fast. For sure. Alright, we're gonna stop here. Let's see. I'm just along the way of riding this board. I'm thinking of more things that I want to make sure that I don't miss out on mentioning, and that is let's see, so my weight, I think I weigh about somewhere around like 150 or 140 pounds, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's another thing to mention, I think. So I just came up from that hill, and I think, yep, somebody's coming. So yeah, I just came up from that hill in gear 4, and I'm about to go downhill right here, and usually I do brake a little bit. Yeah, there's a few cars passing by, so there's gonna be quite a few cuts. But other than that, like I said, when I go down the hill, I brake a little bit. I think it does help the battery a bit out. Another thing to mention, I think, would be helpful for people is that sometimes we'll say a percentage that would be usually like lower than the battery that the battery is actually at. And usually what that would mean is that the motors do heat up, because you know they're, first of all, they're pretty powerful, and second of all, if you use up a lot of power, like you go in gear 3 and 4 like me, then you know, it will heat up, and then it will, I guess, glitch out the battery specs here and there. And so there will be times that, let's say for example, you'll be riding like, let's say full power, and you're like, the first time you check the remote you're at 60%, and then you go full speed for like 10 seconds, let's say, right? Go full speed for 10 seconds. When you stop, the remote will say like 30% or something along those lines, or like 40% and rising. Rising meaning it will say 40%, but then it will start going up all of a sudden. So that's what I'm talking about there. So I thought that's another good thing to mention, that, you know, don't always fall for the low percentage that it will be showing, because for the, you know, usually that will just mean that you just used a lot of power and it just needs some time to either cool off, which you can do if you even want to, you know, take a break, because the board itself does vibrate quite a bit. So my friend, he actually, you know, just started out, and his legs were actually hurting, and so he would usually stop to take a break for like, you know, a minute or something like that. But yeah, so that's, you know, if you want to do that, you could, or, you know, like you just, you know, let off the throttle and just let it roll for a little bit, and then, like, you know, that's if you want to see the more clearer picture of where your battery stands. And yeah, it will go up. It won't go up a lot, but it will go up at least by 7 to 10% at the most, you know. So like I said, just don't fall for the low percentage showing at the very, you know, earliest time. Just wait, just give it some time, and then it will fix itself out a bit. So yeah, I already reached up, this would usually be about 2 miles in, and I am at 55%, 56, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. See, it's like, it's rising back up. 58. Let's see, 59. Let's see if we can hit 60. Got to get off the board. Yeah, 60. Yeah, see? It's just glitching out a little bit because it just used quite a bit of power. And yeah. So more down there, it's going to be a prison. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to just turn around. I think this has been quite the trip. This is already 2 miles in. So I feel like if we go right back, we turn around right here. Because usually the trip all the way down there and then, like, you know, a little turn, that would already be considered like 2.4, 2.5 miles. So, you know, 2.5 plus 2.5, that would be 5 miles already. But I think 4 miles trip of, you know, I'm recording it, and then we'll basically see what percentage it'll be at when we get back. And, you know, once again to mention, when I came out, I was at 70% around there, or 75, something like that. And once again, I'm just, you know, I'm just cruising. So, you know, I'm not like going full speed, crazy mode and stuff like that, you know. Like, I don't even have turbo mode turned on right now because, you know, I don't really need it. It's not necessary. I'm not, you know, late to go anywhere. So yeah, I'm not in a rush. So I'm just cruising at about 18 to 20 miles an hour, as I am right now. Usually I'll go full throttle, but since I'm recording, I'm going just a tiny bit slower. You know, when I'm not recording, I go full throttle on gear 3, and that would be 20 to 22 miles an hour, maybe even 23 miles an hour. Oh, and by the way, this is about to be a real steep hill. I am on the gear 3, as you can see. I'm going full throttle right now, and let's see how we make it up. Wow, that is just fantastic. I mean, seriously, you don't see performance like this on many boards these days. And let alone, this is a hub motor. This is not even belt driven. Belt driven boards, like boosted board, for example, those do very, very well against hills, at least from what I've heard. I have never owned one myself, but I have ridden one, or more like tried one. But yeah, so I've tried one out when I was at Paragon Sports at the store, looking at, you know, choosing which board I want to get. So I tried out the boosted board. So, you know, and it was all right, you know. I haven't, of course, I did not get a chance to try it out on hills or anything like that because I was at the store. But you know, it you know, everybody talks a lot about this one option that, you know, boosted boards are very well known for, and it's, you know, to go forward and backward by just scrolling forward and backward on the controller. You see, with this board, you can there's an app for it. So when you go into the app on your phone, you can switch the option. There's an option for it basically on the board. So when you can turn that option on, and then you can do it. But the only thing is that when you turn that one on, I'm pretty sure that then at that point the regenerative braking turns off. I think that's my theory. I'm not 100% sure, but I think, because I have not noticed any regeneration going on when I would brake on that board. But you know, when you're on the normal mode where you just, you know, scroll forward to you know, go, and then scroll backward to brake, that's where the regenerative braking actually goes on. So. And would you look at that? Oh. Alright, that was a deer, but a car came out, so that's a cut right there. But we're coming up to where we started, so we're almost there. Going up yet another hill without a problem as usual. And yeah, great results so far. we're going up our last hill, and yep, we are pretty much here. Yep, here we are. So, as you can see, I was at 36 when I first stopped. Now it's at 39. Let's see, it's going on to 40. Let's see, 41. And that is it, apparently. Oh, wait, what? What was that? Oh, wow. 41 to 43%. Is it gonna happen? Oh, I think it is. I think it is gonna happen. Oh, it's glitching out a bit. But... And another thing to mention is that when after you turn off your board for a little bit and then you turn it back on in like 5 to 10 minutes, it will bring the battery up even more. Not by a lot, but let's say about 2 to 3 more percent. If I would say up to 5% at most. But yeah. And as you can see now, it is getting to 43. It's gonna stay at 43. Yep, now it's at 43. So, as far as my final thoughts go, this is a pretty good board. And I will mention another thing. It is IP54 water resistant system, which means almost waterproof. Just, you know, don't throw it in the pool, of course, but you can ride it through the rain. And in fact, I have about 2 to 3 months ago, I still didn't have my license. All right, so I wasn't able to drive a car yet, but I had one, but I wasn't able to drive it, so I had no other option, which is exactly why I got this board, because I had the money, just not the license yet. And so yeah, I've been using this board for commute from my house to work. It is a 2.2 mile ride there and back, so altogether about 4.4. If you count the hills, power wise, I think it would usually use up 5.5 to like 6 miles worth of power, just simply because, you know, we have big hills over here, and it's just, you know, going there, regardless if I'm going just over there or back, you know, there's always hills everywhere. So, you know, that does take out quite a bit of power. But nevertheless, this board has not given me a single problem. And coming back to water, I have ridden it through rain, through both little and hard rain, like, you know, just straight up pouring, you know, and it has gone through it all. It has ridden over puddles, and, you know, just, you know, lots of rain in general, and it has not glitched or given me a problem whatsoever at all. The whole time that I've had this board, I have not had a single disappointment, and that's exactly what I love about this board, because I had 2 other, well, actually technically 3 other electric longboards, 2 of which you know, worked all right, and the third one, last one, it was, you know, and they were all from China, and it was not as great of an experience. Like I said, the very first one was, I remember buying it for about $130 or $140 off eBay, and, you know, it was one of those, you know, the very minimal, cheaper ones that you can just get, you know, with, you know, orange wheels, wooden deck, and a handle, as a matter of fact. And that's where I like started off with electric skateboards. You know, I started off with that one, and it went like 12, 13 miles an hour maybe top speed, but it was great. It lasted for about 4 to 5 miles. It had 4 to 5 miles of range. I think that was all right for the price that I paid, and it had no problems. But then later I sold it. But the second one was, I think it was called Skatebolt, something like that. And I bought it off eBay as used for $350, and I wrote it. It was great, but the thing is, when I first got it, it was almost fully charged, and its performance actually impressed me. I will say, the performance there was great. The range was also, I think it was pretty good. Everything all in all was great. The only thing is that that board came in on a rainy day, and I'm talking like it was pouring, okay? And I said to myself, no, this is not gonna stop me from riding it. So I didn't let that stop me. So what I went ahead and did was I took it out and I went riding. So I came back, it was almost dead, but I got quite a bit of range out of it. I had lots and lots of fun. It went pretty fast. It is and that one, at least, it specifies that it goes 24 or 25 miles an hour, somewhere around there. So, and it went pretty fast, so I would assume it was somewhere like that. But basically, long story short, I came home that day, I charged it up. It took about over 3 hours, but it charged up all the way, and the next day that I used it, it died. I honestly feel like it died even sooner than the first time. But then after that, I brought it home and I put it to charge, and it was done charging within like 40-45 minutes. And I was like, okay, this is weird. So I turned it on, and it only showed half battery, and that's it. That was it. It wasn't able to charge all the way to 100% ever since. And I'm assuming, I watched more and more videos on YouTube afterwards, and then I was like, oh wow. So it's actually not very healthy to take electric skateboards out in the rain and through water and all that stuff. So I was like, well, crap. But, stuff happens. Things happen. But yeah, I mean, I took it out through rain, and it just, it got messed up. And then the third one, it was just, it's, what was it even called? It was Spadger, actually, as a matter of fact. Yeah, it was Spadger with 2 handles on both sides, and it had lights. It was $4.99 off eBay. I thought it was pretty cool. And then, it said that it was in California or whatever. So I was like, cool. So I placed my order. I paid the $4.99, and then I would say, honestly, 3 to 4 days, or a couple of days in general later, I get a message from from Spadger on eBay saying that their stock ran out. So they were out of stock, basically, so they had to manufacture one in China and send it over from there, which then took about, I would say, around 2 weeks at that point. But I was like, all right, you know what, I'll wait. I'm pretty patient, and I guess I could wait. So I did, and it came in, and from the start, very first thing that happened was, it was charged and all, but the controller had already, trouble pairing. It just, it paired, and then what would happen was, the board would be on, the controller would be on, and then it pairs, and then like 5 seconds later, the board would just turn off. And I'm like, what the heck? I got the lights to work and all. I figured all that out, and it had app for it. Everything was cool and all, but it just it wasn't working. So I took all of it, and I the first 2 boards I sold, like I said, and the third one, this Badger one, I returned it right back and got a they actually, as a matter of fact, they paid the $4.99 plus half of the shipping. So I did lose about $30 or $40 there, but like I paid like 60 something or 70 something dollars, in shipping, but they paid me, you know, they refunded me about 530 something or 540 something dollars back on my PayPal, which was at least, you know, something. So, you know, but, you know, at that point I was like, all right, you know what, that's enough, you know, that's enough. I'm done, you know, taking this crap, and I'm done, you know, trusting all these off brands or whatever. So what I decided I was gonna do then was, you know, I just got on the bus and I went to the city, and then, you know, I found, you know, I did my research on which stores had like boosted boards and electric skateboards in general, and Paragon Sports was one of them. So I went there, and then that was the place. That was the place. It took me a while to walk around and find them because it was mostly like sports stuff, but like they had like 2 floors and then a basement. So you know, I was in the middle. They had like baseball stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be confusing. So I went upstairs, and then there was even more, you know, sports stuff. So then I went to the basement, and that's where it was at. But yeah, so yeah, that was actually quite the story I just told. But yeah, I found this board, and it was it was $999 advertised, and then, you know, the boosted stealth was there also for, you know, $16.99, or wait, or 15. I think it's $16.99, but then I think with tax, wait, I think it's $15.99. So like being 60, because what I do remember 100% is that the, you know, the guy who was there, you know, one of the workers basically, he said that, you know, with taxes, in the end, the whole board would end up being $17.50. That's what I do remember 100%. So, you know, with tax, you know, $17.50 for a boosted board. I don't know, you know, and, you know, it said like 14 miles of range in the boosted board, and like the boosted board only going 24 miles an hour. I'm like, well, that doesn't really make any sense when this board is only 1,000, and it goes, you know, 29 miles an hour. It has a 16-mile range, 2 more miles of range, and, you know, 5 more miles an hour speed. But yeah, nevertheless, I got this board. I ended up getting this board. I was very happy. I got back on the bus. I came home, and then I tested it out at night, and it was great. You know, it did perfectly. It did perfect on hills already from the beginning. Then I figured out all the rest of the stuff, like the settings and the app and all that. And yeah, I've used this board a lot ever since. I've had it for over 4 years, I will say. Over 4 years for sure. And, you know, it has quite a bit of miles on it. I'm about to change the tires on it very soon, on the hub motors, that is. And yeah, and then the spare tires are only like $35, something like that, on their website. So I think that's a pretty good deal, and they have them in 3 different colors, which is black, orange, and green. So I think that's also pretty cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it, you know. And this board specifically, I mean, man, you have to like say, you know, like, and it's pretty dirty, I will, you know, admit. I don't really have time to clean it, but not even that it needs cleaning, to be honest. It doesn't affect the performance whatsoever. But the one thing that's like stands out the most is that, where is the battery, man? You can't see the battery whatsoever. I mean, no wires, no battery, nothing. Like, there's the wiring right there. It's like so hidden. Who would even ever see or think? Like, people, I kid you not, people still come up to me to this day and say, man, I seen you on that thing, and I was thinking to myself, man, that kid really pushing that board real, like, he's got some real strong legs. I'm like, okay, you're tripping. First of all, you're tripping. Second of all, I don't even think that's possible, man. What the hell? You know, because like he says, you know, he see me passing the cars and stuff on this thing. I'm like, yeah, that's not, you know. And then others would be like, yeah, unless he's a magician, he's not, you know, there's no way. But yeah, that was a bit of a backstory to this. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, and comment if you have any more questions or any suggestions for a future video or anything like that. Make sure you feel free to comment down below what are any of your thoughts. And if you like the video, make sure you drop a like. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. I will, I've posted what, like 4 videos or something like that. And I know I haven't really taken this as serious, but at the very same time, I do have like 2 jobs that I'm working at right now. But who knows what this will, where this will go. Maybe down the line, my YouTube channel by some chance goes somewhere, then my plans might change there. But other than that, I think that'll be it. So I will try and post more. We'll say that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed and if you're new. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.